then all pre-K through second grade students will officially return to 5 days a week on October 20th. Third through fifth graders will return to class full-time for in-person instruction on the 26th of this month. The district's plans are on our website, WFMYnews2.com. Now, sixth graders return to class on October 20th, seventh and eighth graders on October 26th. High schoolers, though, they have to wait until next year, January 20th. Students in 6th through 12th grade will have 2 days per week of in-person instruction and 3 days of remote learning once they go back in January. You can review that full plan again on our website.
Let's check in now with your 4 to 5 roundup. You still have time to complete your census. The deadline was originally September 30th, but a last-minute lawsuit extended it to October 31st. Remember, the census helps the government know how many people live in each community so they can accurately distribute resources like money. You can fill out your census online at 2020census.gov. The mayor of New York City is asking the state for permission to close schools and tighten restrictions in specific neighborhoods that are experiencing a rise in coronavirus cases. If that is approved, shutdowns could start as early as Wednesday in 9 zip codes across the city. 100 public schools and 200 private schools would have to close. Indoor dining would close as well just a few days after reopening. Places of worship can stay open under current restrictions. Those shutdowns could impact nearly 500,000 people. The New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs are playing tonight after players who will be on the field all tested negative for the coronavirus. The game was rescheduled from Sunday after quarterback Cam Newton and Chiefs practice squad QB Jordan Ta'amu tested positive for the virus. Newton is now in quarantine, and you can watch tonight's game right here on WFMY News 2. Kickoff is at 7. Another Greensboro restaurant is closing its doors. Jack's Corner Mediterranean Deli is shutting down permanently after more than 28 years in business. The owner says the decision was not made lightly, and they're closing for a number of reasons. They thank the community for their support for the past 3 decades.
More technical difficulties impacting the state health department's coronavirus case reporting. DHHS is now reporting low case numbers from Sunday. Now, this issue could cause numbers to spike today once it is corrected. WFMY News 2, though, is still waiting to hear from the department with more on details that caused that technical issue. In the meantime, let's take a look at numbers that are not impacted by technical issues. Hospitalizations. The curve has stayed flat over the past 2 weeks, and there's been no more than 1,000 hospitalizations since the middle of August.
And weather-wise across the Triad, what a beautiful way to start the week. You can barely even find a cloud in the sky. In fact, that's my challenge to you, to see if you can do that, because it will be hard to do and really quite comfortable as far as temperatures go. You can see not any problems at all on the radar, even across the state, and of course here at home, nothing to speak of. Like I said, not even any clouds. Temperature-wise, we're in the upper 60s and low 70s across the board. 69 in Greensboro, 71 in Lexington, High Point, and in Winston-Salem. Tonight, under clear skies, we'll drop back to right around 50 degrees. There could be some upper 40s in some of those spots that are generally just a little bit cooler than everybody else. For your Tuesday, hit copy and paste for another beautiful day tomorrow. Will be a little bit warmer. We'll climb into the 70s tomorrow, but just brilliant sunshine to go all around for your Tuesday. And this nice weather going to stick around, but there's things happening in the tropics, and that could have an impact on our weather as we head towards the weekend. We'll have those details coming up.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Registration for Guilford County Schools Virtual Academies is officially closed. The 2 online schools are the only option for kids who want to continue remote learning when students return to the classrooms. Now, last week, the district told us that 7,000 kids had enrolled of the 72,000 in the district, but they haven't given us an updated number since registration ended on Friday at 5 o'clock. Today, I got an inside look at how and what those students will be learning.
We're at home.
Lindsay Ingram and Caitlin Bacon are both teaching from classrooms inside of their homes. They're part of Guilford County Schools' all-new virtual academies.
Today is one of our favorite days.
Ingram teaches STEM.
STEM Challenge Day. Woo, woo.
And Bacon teaches 4th grade.
You round, then out.
Both use live and pre-recorded lessons to deliver the same curriculum taught in GCS schools.
The curriculum, they're getting the same thing in our classrooms that they would get in a brick and mortar school. All of us have been brick and mortar teachers up to this point.
At the start of the year, all students learned online. If parents wanted their kids to continue with remote learning, they had to enroll them in one of 2 virtual academies. That meant transferring out of their original school for at least the remainder of the semester, if not the year.
We are not just some foreign, the virtual school. We are a GCS school, and we develop those relationships.
Students can complete the 15 to 30 hours of schoolwork each week at their own pace and on their own time. Both Ingram and Bacon say the feedback from students and parents has been overwhelmingly positive, and they feel like everyone is more engaged.
It's fun with middle schoolers. They don't always just come out and say, oh, I like this lesson. I know I'm doing a good job every time we have a live lesson and there are more cameras on. So I'm like, oh, they want me to see them. Yeah, we're having fun.
Aside from tech issues, both teachers think the virtual academy is already a well-oiled machine.
One thing that's been thrown around a lot about the virtual school is building this plane as we fly it. But we don't see it as that. I believe we are jets and we are taking off into the future of education. And every day we are soaring higher and higher. And so that's what we want to instill in our children, like, let's go get it.
The 4 to 5 is live right now on WFMY News 2's Facebook page. Join our conversation there. We'll see you there, and we'll be right back.
Podcasting, it has been around for years, but here in the Triad, we're seeing a surge of recent and no real explanation for that. So we decided to go to the experts. I spoke with Adam Witten of the Triad Podcasting Network to see what's happening. Well, Adam, now you're in my neck of the woods because I absolutely love podcasts. Tell me how you got started doing all this.
So I'm a lover of podcasts as well, and I thought that there was a need for podcasts to be sourced locally. We provide a lot of information that you might find amongst the millions of podcasts that are already out there, but very little of it is locally sourced. And so I've got an audio background and a passion for podcasting, and combining those two things is really what kind of spawned the Triad Podcast Network.
Putting a show together like that, what's the thought process when you're trying to help a client get through putting together their show?
So it's got to be story-based. The thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to have it be a commercial. Podcast is a unique communication medium, and it's different than a commercial that you might hear on radio or a billboard that you might see. It allows you to tell a story. It allows you to be relatable. We provide a platform for businesses to be able to do that, to tell their story, to tell the story of the people that they work with. And that's what kind of separates this and adds another communication tentacle to what businesses are trying to do in the area.
So let's talk about what type of, I'm sure you do all types of podcasts, but give me some examples of what you guys are cranking out these days.
So we do some fun stuff, highlight restaurant owners. We're able to provide advice on certain things like real estate or managing your money, but we talk local craft beer as well. So it's a combination of information, expert advice, but also some fun mixed in there as well. But all really story-based, all relatable. So we try to help you learn and maybe give you a few laughs as well.
That's perfect, man. You're doing great work. Can't wait to listen. We appreciate your time today, Adam. Good luck. It's pretty cool there. And if you need more information, all you have to do is look for this story on WFNYnews2.com. So I asked you on Facebook, I wanted to know what are your favorite podcasts out there? And Dawn Callum, I agree with her on this one. She said the Dave Ramsey podcast, very good for the wallet, I will tell you. Mary Carter Davis says, she has a list of them, by the way, Pod Save America, Stuff You Should Know, and Wait, Don't Tell Me. That's an NPR one. That's a good one. Jeff Fischel, I can't pronounce this because it's in German, but it's ZDF, I'm going to say Hoyt, not sure. Journal, he said it's a news podcast out of Germany, 100% in German, but also easy German. He said a 100% German language podcast that is based out of Berlin. That's unusual. Jansen says, well, the weekly pop-up podcast, of course. And then Tracy says the Delta Flyers. It's two actors from Star Trek Voyager who rewatch episodes and provide commentary. See, that I think is cool, and I wish a lot of different shows did that. Wouldn't that be cool to hear? It's almost like when you hear the bonus things on DVD, and sometimes the actors will talk about behind-the-scenes things that happened here, that kind of thing. I love that.
Yeah, the two actresses from The Office, which of course was a huge show, they're doing a rewatch podcast. I'm always a fan of those because you get the behind-the-scenes tidbits that you didn't even know that you wanted to know. I was thinking if I had a podcast, what would I talk about? And Tahisha, I'm sure if you and I just put microphones on, we'd figure it out. And honestly, Chilton, you're invited anytime.
Right. I always say that if I had a podcast, a show, or something, you guys already know my name, The Noise with Moise. I just don't know what I would be noising about. So I don't know. But I love the idea of just being able to just chat about whatever, right?
You know what I love about the idea of hosting a podcast is I wouldn't have to put makeup on.
Oh yeah,
Best
yeah.
part.
No one cares.
Can't
But there
see
are
me.
the ones that are recorded.
Yeah.
Recorded podcasts.
Mine wouldn't
which
be like
defeats
that.
the purpose.
Mine wouldn't be like that. All right, this is an interesting topic. If you had a podcast, what would you talk about? Share with us on our Facebook feed. Use our hashtag 4to5. We'll see you there.
With the intensity of this election season and the current political climate, it's nice to be reminded that even if we have differing opinions, we can all get along. Two Texas moms are sending a strong message of love thy neighbor, no matter what they believe. Our sister station in Austin, Texas, introduces us to Tasha Hancock and Marnie Liddon.
It's all about loving my neighbor.
A message that has gotten lost during this year's presidential campaign.
Would you shut up, man? Listen, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me, this.
Hey, let me just say, there's nothing smart about you, Joe.
The bickering on the national stage seeping down into the communities who support them.
On our neighborhood page, I'd seen a lot of issues with people stealing signs, throwing paint on signs.
Punching holes through them.
A lot of bashing back and forth.
I live right here.
Marnie Linton and Tasha Hancock have been neighbors and friends for 6 years.
She will come over and mow my yard.
Oh yeah, I mowed her yard the other day.
And I will mow her yard. She brings us goodies.
Linton, a Republican, and Hancock, a Democrat, wanted to change the narrative.
I may think one way about one subject, and that's why I vote a certain way, but that doesn't run my whole life. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person or my kids are not good people and we're not a good family, and vice versa.
Linton posted these photos to their Cedar Park neighborhood Facebook page, showing that there can be love between the two parties.
It was crazy, and people were like, thank you for doing this. This is how it should be. Thank you for acting like adults.
I think also it's about to demonstrate to our kids, we're both mothers, and to demonstrate to our kids that you can have different opinions, you can look different, and still respect and love one another.
Even though they'll be checking different boxes on November 3rd, the duo said they will be riding to the polls together to make their voices heard.
Go out and vote.
Well, weather-wise across the Triad, just an absolutely gorgeous day to be outside. Hardly even a cloud in the sky. In fact, I challenge you to try and find one of those. Temperature-wise, really quite comfortable in the upper 60s and lower 70s across the board. Now tonight, under mostly clear skies, we'll drop down back to around 50 degrees, some upper 40s in some of those places that are generally a little bit cooler. For your Tuesday, it's an absolutely gorgeous day again, and a little bit warmer. Temperatures will be in the mid-70s. So we stay dry for several days, but then we got to talk about what's happening in the tropics. More importantly, what's happening with what is now Tropical Storm Delta. It is likely to become a Category 2 hurricane over the next day or two, but what it does once it gets into the Gulf will mean a lot on how it interacts with what is now Tropical Storm Gamma, and we're going to have to watch to see how it tracks. It could bring us some rain as we head towards the weekend, but the track, the speed, the amount of rain that we're going to get is really all up in the air right now. That's something we'll be tracking over the next couple days, but it looks likely that we'll get at least some rain over the course of Saturday and Sunday. If it comes further north, that means a little bit more. If it stays further to the south, that means a little bit less rain. That's what we're going to be tracking over the course of this week. For now, though, enjoy several more dry days. In the 70s tomorrow, even close to 80 degrees on Wednesday before another front comes through and cools us back down to those more fall-like temperatures by the time we end the week and head into the weekend. All eyes, though, will be on Saturday and Sunday for possible rain from what is now Tropical Storm Delta. That's a quick look at your forecast. Your 4 to 5 will be right back.
Hello. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Yes, countries in Europe are trying to get coronavirus cases under control.
Hi, Jeff. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic check, mic check, mic check.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner here with Eric Chilton, Tahitian Voice, and Christian Morgan this afternoon. As always, this is an interactive show. We want to chat with you. That's why we are live streaming right now on our Facebook page, Twitter page, and YouTube channel. Join our conversation and use our hashtag 4 to 5. Let's jump right in here with your 4 to 5 roundup. President Donald Trump and his medical team say he will leave Walter Reed Medical Center tonight at 6:30. The president tweeted out earlier that he's feeling really good. Doctors said over the weekend that he had a high fever on Friday and his oxygen levels dropped twice. The president was treated for COVID-19 with a steroid, the drug remdesivir, and a mixture of antibody medications. Since President Trump's diagnosis, many lawmakers and people close to the president have also tested positive, including the White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany. She announced her diagnosis this morning. North Carolina Senator Thom Tillis also tested positive for the coronavirus and is recovering. The Grand Ole Opry's month-long 95th anniversary celebration started on Saturday night, and for the first time in 29 weeks, the famous venue in Nashville allowed 500 guests. Now, the audience was mainly made up of people who had tickets to previous shows that were canceled. The Opry says they worked with the Nashville Health Department to plan out everything. Opry members Dierks Bentley, Terry Clark, Vince Gill, and Lori Morgan all performed. The Nobel Prize for Medicine was awarded this morning for the discovery of the hepatitis C virus. The prize is going to 2 Americans and a British scientist. The World Health Organization estimates that more than 70 million cases of hepatitis worldwide, and they kill more than 400,000 people each year. The Nobel Prize is typically awarded for discoveries from many years ago, even decades before. It's the first of 6 Nobel Prizes that will be announced over the next few weeks. Others include physics, chemistry, literature, peace, and economics. Well, the city of Greensboro wants your family to have a safe and happy Halloween, so they're hosting multiple events, mainly virtual, for your protection. A Halloween hoopla filled with DIY carnival games, crafts, and treats is happening every Tuesday this month. There's a DIY costume tutorial on October 14th, and after that, there's a costume contest from the 12th through the 23rd. And you don't want to miss the reverse parade happening at the Greensboro Sportsplex on the 24th. Other spooky events are happening this month, including plays, library events, and ghost tours. You can learn more on the city's Facebook page.
Countries in Europe are trying to get coronavirus cases under control to avoid a second wave of cases. CBS News' Ian Lee explains how China, the nation at the center of the pandemic, has gone without any community spread since August.
China has reason to celebrate. The country recently reported no community spread of the coronavirus since August. Now that's being put to the test. Hundreds of millions of people are expected to travel during an 8-day national holiday. I'm not worried, says this man. China's got it under control. But many countries don't. France recorded a record level of daily infections over the weekend. The government ordered Paris to close its famous bars starting tomorrow. Italy, one of the hardest hit countries, is also seeing a resurgence. But some areas are coping using a lesson from the Black Death. These Renaissance-era wine windows serve customers while helping to maintain social distancing. The UK is also struggling to halt the rise of coronavirus cases. Over the weekend, experts here discovered a glitch that missed nearly 16,000 cases. That delayed contact tracing, with the Prime Minister warning things could get worse through Christmas.
It is still very possible that there are bumpy months ahead.
The Prime Minister recently threatened more restrictions, as the country has the worst official death toll in Europe.
According to the World Health Organization, roughly 1 in 10 people may have already had coronavirus. Mike Ryan with the organization said earlier today, the estimate is based on the average from antibody studies completed worldwide.
So a student in Maine claims that she was kicked out of her Zoom math class on Thursday because she had a Trump flag hanging in her workspace that was visible. Now, Molly Woodbury says the flag had been up for about a week and that it never was an issue before. She added that her teacher asked her to take it down, and she said no because she said it was in her bedroom and the flag wasn't offensive. Then Molly received notification she had been removed from the meeting by the host.
Kind of feel like my right to have my own opinion was taken away by her. I just don't really want her to hate me or have anything against me because of this.
The superintendent says the school supports the student and staff's rights to express themselves, but there are, quote, times that the district must take content neutral place and manner restrictions on speech. Molly, by the way, was back in school on Friday. That's an interesting one, and I think a lot of people are going to be sounding off about this one. What are your rights to be able to do that if you're sitting in your home? That's a tough one, although I think if you're in your home space, I don't know how much they can say.
Right. I mean, there is that, but then if you're still a student of the district, you still have to follow the district rules, even if you're technically at your house and you may not agree with the rules, but you are saying that this is where I want to go to school. So I don't know. It's a tough situation either way.
I think there are many things that we didn't think would come up because of learning from home. This is one of those things. It's just like a dress code. If you're not following the dress code, but you're sitting at home working on schoolwork on a Zoom class with your classmates, who has jurisdiction over that? So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, guys. It's kind of that gray line that we don't really know what to do with, because when you are on one of these calls, your house or whatever people are seeing, like Tahisha said, that becomes school. That becomes your classroom. So you kind of have to adhere to the same standards as you would normally be in the class. So like I said, it's kind of that gray line that we don't really know what to do with. All right, let's talk about Triad weather. Beautiful across the Triad today. Sitting in the upper 60s and near 70 degrees. I really don't know how it can get much better than this. That beautiful weather is going to stick around too tonight under mostly clear skies. We'll drop down to around 50 degrees, some upper 40s in some of those spots that are generally a little bit cooler. For your Tuesday, we'll just hit copy and paste. Do it again tomorrow. A little bit warmer tomorrow though. We'll climb up into the mid 70s by the afternoon. But overall, just a really comfortable day of weather with brilliant sunshine and that Carolina blue sky all across the area. Now we do have to switch gears a little bit and talk about the tropics, and mainly we're talking about what is now Tropical Storm Delta. Likely becomes a hurricane in the next couple days. This would be our first hurricane of the year in the Greek alphabet, by the way. Sitting about 165 miles to the southwest of Jamaica right now, and its track is going to mean a lot for us, but it's still really uncertain because it will also likely interact some with what is now Tropical Depression Gamma, also in the Gulf. So what it does over the next couple days could mean a lot for us. For the rest of the week, though, the really nice weather, it sticks around. We keep the dry weather, the sunny weather around for several days. It is looking more likely that we will get at least some rainfall from Delta over the weekend, yet the timing and the amount of rain that we're going to get is still really uncertain. A lot of that will depend on the exact track and the speed of that storm. For now, enjoy the nice weather. Warming up a bit. Wednesday looking like our warmest day before we cool back off to more fall-like temperatures to end the week.
3 things, if someone asks you, what is the census about? It's about representation and resources, which means power and money, and to ensure that you get your fair share over the next 10 years.
All right, power, money, she got my attention. The census divvies up money to 140 plus programs in North Carolina and really every state.
Yeah, it's about $7 trillion.
Big money.
Over the next 10 years.
Yeah, so the census benefits, resets the dial of where that money goes every single 10 years, right? So this is our chance. And if folks don't respond.
Yeah, then our state and our local communities, they don't get as much as they should.
Which is why we're talking to you right now. Right now, North Carolina has a response rate in the 60th percentile.
I hate a C.
So average.
It is average. We need to be better than that.
We don't need to be average,
Come
right?
on.
So I said the same thing, but there were factors that our state was dealing with that other states didn't deal with. Like our door-to-door canvassing was a month shorter than others. And here's how Marilyn Stevens from the Census Bureau wants you to remedy those numbers.
Make out your list of 20 people. Call them up and say, have you completed the census? Because we need our fair share over the next 10 years. So we're going to reach 20 during 2020.
links to how to fill out the census right now. And as she said, right now, do it online, do it by phone. Look in the 2 wants to know section. It's all right there for you. Hey, as students head back to the classroom later, there are new worries for parents. Coming up at 5:30, a Cone Health expert joins us to help students and parents prepare. You can text us your questions, 336-379-5775. Now remember, this is text only, no calling. We will start our questions starting around 5:30.
It is World Teachers Day, so we want to know of a teacher who made an impact in your life. You can share with us your teacher's name in the live stream comments of 4 to 5 on Facebook, and we'll take a look at your comments after the break. We'll be right back.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you hear me? Tasha, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And trending right now today is World Teachers Day. We want to take a moment here on the 4 to 5 to celebrate. I asked you on my Facebook page who your favorite teacher was and why. Got some great responses. We'll start with Beverly, who said Kelly Brower Kivett and Jennifer Brower Stevenson because they are her daughters. How cool is that? Angela Hare says Barbara Hyatt Poole and Robert Belton both come to mind, and they came into her life at exactly the right time. She says they both taught me more than poetry and Shakespeare. I learned life lessons that I still use today. Those were the best kinds of teachers. Diane Chambers said Mr. Fox Woodlawn Middle School in Mebane. He was a great teacher and so funny. When school ended for the day, he would jump up on the wall outside and do an Ernest T. Bass impersonation. I would love to see that. Debbie Stewart said her 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Betty Cooper, she was the first teacher that made me feel proud of myself. And Jason Joyce said Don McMartin at West Oaks High School just got being the man he is, always having time for his kids at school, whether 6:30 in the morning or 5 in the afternoon. He cared about what he was doing, funny, extremely smart, and just overall a wonderful teacher. And that is so important, Eric.
Well, we asked you on our WFMY News 2 Facebook page to give a shout out to a teacher who had impacted your life. So Jalen Gilkey joins us now sharing some of the shout outs there. Lots of good teachers in the world.
Yes, we do, Eric. And our first comment comes from Raina Couch. She just wants to send a very special thank you to Miss Lisa Allen. Next, we have a comment from Miss Anderson, who says, happy #World Teacher Day to all the incredible teachers in my life, all the teachers who helped me get me to where I am today. Next, we have a comment from Miss C. She says, happy #World Teachers Day to all my wonderful colleagues. And then our last comment comes from Bethany. She says, happy #World Teachers Day. Thank you for all you do for our kids. And I got a couple of special shout outs I want to send out. One to Miss Kiara Cherry, who's a kindergarten teacher here at Washington Montessori, and Miss Latoya Wright, who teaches 7th grade at Jackson Middle School. And I got one more special shout out. My favorite teacher I've ever had, Miss Caroline Jones, who is our TV studio manager at North Carolina A&T State University.
Very nice. Yes, and I think we really have to give a special shout out to all teachers today on World Teachers Day, because they are balancing a lot of things right now. Many of them still virtual learning and trying to keep kids engaged even though they're at home working. It is a tough job.
It sure is. I tell you, I was looking back through the script, Maddie, you were reading where you posted on your Facebook page, and now I'm fascinated because Debbie Stewart said that her 5th grade teacher was Betty Cooper. My 5th grade teacher was named Betty Cooper. How many of them are there? I wonder if she's from Mount Airy. So now I've got to do some research.
She very well might be. And Eric, I know that you have educators in your family as well, so it's always been an important part of your life.
Yeah, my uncle was a math teacher. My dad was a teacher, principal, superintendent.
I have a lot of favorite teachers, but I think I have to shout out. Sorry, I'll tell you what, guys. I think I have several favorite teachers, but I need to give a shout out to 2 of those. One, I think, who watches this program, and that would be Miss Gina Allen McKee. She's from my hometown of Asheboro, of course. She was my English teacher, and I messed up a lot in her class, and I got a lot of things wrong, and I even ruined a piece of technology in the library one day during her class. But she said it was all going to be okay. She taught me a lot. And then I also have to give a shout out to my American government teacher, Coach Steve Luck at Asheboro High School as well, who not only was funny, but taught me a lot and learned a lot about government and politics and what we're going through right now, which is crazy. So shout out to them.
It's funny how you use the things that your teachers teach you. Thank you to all the teachers out there. Love the idea of Christian Morgan being a troublemaker in the classroom, though. I'm going to have to message your English teacher and see what else you got into there. It's always good to have dirt on your coworkers, right? Maybe? All right. Well, share your shout outs for World Teachers Day in the comments section of the 4 to 5 live stream. You can find that on our Facebook page. We'll see you there.
Yes, mic check since I reloaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So how about spending the day going from bakery to brewery all across the Triad, and then you end up with a dinner with Richard Petty at his house? Doesn't get much better than that in Central North Carolina. Sounds like you're dreaming, but it is actually a thing. I spoke with Petty Foundation Director Shannon Newman to give us the scoop. Shannon, this sounds like a day of fun, and on Halloween of all days. I love this. Let's talk about the Moonshine Run this year. What's happening?
Basically, we wanted to celebrate the roots of NASCAR, as well as provide an opportunity for our supporters to do a fun event to help raise money for the Petty Family Foundation. It's a car event. Folks will start up in North Wilkesboro at Copper Barrel Distillery. And along the way, we'll have fun stops. For example, we usually stop at a bakery or at an ice cream shop. And just make our way down through the Triad. We'll go to the old Nick Williams Distillery in Louisville. And from that point, we'll make our way over to the Petty Museum. And then finally, we'll end with a dinner at the home of Richard Petty on his farm.
This is just a ton of fun. And you and I were talking before we started our interview, but this is really, I mean, social distancing is important, but you can do that in cars so easily, and you're even going to do it at the dinner.
Absolutely. We think this event is the perfect event with the COVID restrictions. Of course, people are going to be in their cars with the people they're already around on a daily basis. They can social distance when they're in the town of North Wilkesboro touring around. All of the distilleries will have social distancing protocols in place. And then finally, when we end on Richard's farm, of course, it's a pretty big area, and we're going to limit the number of participants as well. So we think that we'll have people spreading out. They'll be pre-served their meals. They'll enjoy some good music, and we think it'll just be a great way to celebrate Halloween and get out and do something to help our community.
This is great. It's going to be fun. I can just imagine people in costumes riding their cars all over during the run.
Absolutely.
It's going to be great. Thank you, Shannon, so much for your time today.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
If you want a ticket, all you have to do is look for this story. It's on WFMYnews2.com. We've got you hooked up there. This is a really fun event. Don't quote me on this. I think it's the third year. They may have done it more than that, but I think it's the third. And I know that it just draws a huge crowd every year. And since you're driving or riding a motorcycle to all those different places, you're naturally social distancing along the way.
I love it. Hopefully the weather will be just as nice as it is today. Whatever your reason for not being outside today, it's not a good one. Beautiful Carolina blue sky all across the board. And temperature-wise, really, really comfortable. Upper 60s, low 70s, 69 in Greensboro, 70 in Asheboro, 71 in Lexington, High Point, and Winston-Salem. Tonight, mostly clear skies will drop down to around 50 for the overnight low. Copy and paste today for tomorrow. Just a shade warmer for your Tuesday. Brilliant sunshine, temperatures in the mid-70s by the afternoon. Of course, all eyes right now are on what's happening in the tropics. We have tropical depression, Gamma, and now tropical storm, Delta. Really, our eyes are focused on tropical storm Delta and its track, which is likely to become a hurricane over the next couple days and could even become a major hurricane as of this latest advisory at 5 o'clock. But its track and its speed is going to mean a lot for us as far as our weather goes heading into the weekend. So the rest of the week stays dry and nice and comfortable. Although it is looking more likely like we will get some rain over the weekend from the remnants of Delta. Just exactly when and exactly how much rain we're going to get, like I said, is still yet to be determined. The track and the speed of that storm will say a lot in the next few days. Enjoy the nice weather the rest of the week, cooling back down to more fall-like temperatures by Thursday and Friday.
Coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5, Davidson County Schools is reporting a coronavirus cluster at West Davidson High School. We're digging deeper into how the cluster formed and the next steps for the schools. Just ahead at WFMY News 2 at 5. Yes, most of the people in President Trump's administration that have tested positive for coronavirus
Hey, let's do a mic check. A COVID cluster has been identified here at West Davidson High School in Lexington. A cluster is when 5 or more people have coronavirus and the cases are linked to one another. Can you hear me?
Hey there, 1, 2, 3. The Houston Astros are losing a playoff game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, he did.
Hi, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia.
So if you have kids, then you know what I'm talking about, parents. In fact, I was joking with my wife about this over the weekend. I said, you know, when they're loud and they're upstairs playing, or my teenagers are listening to music or whatever, everything's good. But if it's quiet, there's a problem. So it made me think what kids do when they don't think we're paying attention. And I had 2 perfect examples this weekend. So I'll show you. One I'm going to show you in just a sec here. My daughter, Drew, who is 7 years old, she was playing soccer in her soccer game on Sunday. And I noticed that when the ball wasn't near her, she was having a blast. Take a look. Dancing, karate moves. Some of that I'm not even sure what it is. I only videoed a little bit of this, but it went on and on in her own world, having a wonderful time. Now, I know all kids do this. It's great, right? They're kind of got the imagination going. Well then, let's back up to Saturday. Saturday morning, I'm usually the first one up in the house. My son Tyler, who's 10, usually gets up right about the same time I do, or a few minutes earlier. And I came downstairs and I hear this thump, 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 thump. And I look, I'm like, what is he doing? He's watching the London Marathon and acting like he's running with them. And even when he saw me, he's like, I'm gonna win. Kept going over and over, cracking me up. Then it made me think to myself, wouldn't it be great if adults could be like kids and we just do whatever the heck we feel like doing whenever we want to do it? Dancing, throwing your arms up in the air. In some weird way, there is a lesson in what kids are teaching us by watching them do this fun stuff. We all just shouldn't care and do what we want to, right? Thanks to my 2 youngest kids, that's my 2 cents today. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
After spending 4 days in the hospital because of coronavirus, President Donald Trump says he's going home.
He tweeted this afternoon he'll be released at 6:30 tonight and will continue treatment at the White House. President Trump's physician, Dr. Sean Conley, says he'll receive another dose of remdesivir before heading home. It's a broad-spectrum antiviral medication.
Though he may not entirely be out of the woods yet, the team and I agree that all our evaluations and most